Welcome into another episode of Profits Picks. It's game four of the NBA Finals. We're going to look at the side, we're going to look at the total, and we're also going to take a look at some of these player props and series props. First off, we'll look at them. They opened Lakers minus 7.5, currently sitting at minus 7. Total opening 217.5, and we've seen it going up to 218.5. And there was question if Bam would play. He was upgraded to questionable, and now there's word that he will play in this game. And we've seen that line. I mean, we saw it go up to 8, and then it's down back to 7. We have to give a little bit of credit to that Miami Heat coaching staff, defense, players, all of it. But I was mostly impressed with the defensive scheme and the execution. They forced Anthony Davis to catch the ball away from the rim in spots where he's not so comfortable. They protected the paint and dared the Los Angeles Lakers to shoot 3 pointers, and they either hesitated or didn't knock them down or turned the ball over. So I have to give credit to that Heat defense. That is, in my opinion, the reason why they won the game. Yes, Jimmy Butler had a great offensive game, but it all started with the defense. And they didn't allow that many offensive rebounds. That could be a combination of Anthony Davis with his fouls, but really just concentration and effort. They're boxing out. You see everybody making a conscious effort to box out now. Before, guys would just give like a lazy nudge or just not really care so much. But they were getting killed on the boards, and they corrected that, and they corrected their defense. So credit to Miami. Now, it's time for the Lakers to make an adjustment to that. Like I said, Bam is back here. He's not 100%. So I expect Olenek to still get minutes. I expect Miami Heat to still have the same game plan, especially as far as the defense. So we'll see the Lakers likely put Anthony Davis in spots closer to the rim, put him in more places to be successful. He'll likely stay out of foul trouble here in this one. And the Lakers shooters, they have to shoot. They can't hesitate. When they're daring you to shoot, that's how you open up the floor. They're trying to shrink the floor by stacking the paint and just stunting at everybody on the 3 point line, and you have to make them pay. So I expect the Lakers to do so. Lakers have shot 40% from three 6 times in the playoffs. I can see them doing that here. LeBron, he had a terrible fourth quarter. He turned the ball over like crazy. He said can't turn the ball over against his team. He takes responsibility, and he said they have a chance to take a commanding lead in Game 4. And Miami Heat, they got away from the zone. They just had a lot of help defense. And if they're playing man again, even though they'll stack the middle, I expect LeBron James to hunt Tyler Hero, hunt Duncan Robinson, and I'm expecting Anthony Davis to be a lot closer to the rim. That's where he's most effective. And you saw the Heat also do some things like, for example, we've seen Rondo and Anthony Davis have success um, just together, playing together. They do pick and roll, do it, run it pretty well. They did it a couple times to hurt Miami. Then Miami made an adjustment, and they put Jimmy Butler on Rondo, and they put Iguodala on Anthony Davis. And whenever those guys, when they come off the screen, they'll just switch. So short, those are adjustments that Miami made that were good, and things that Los Angeles needs to correct. And I expect them to correct it here. LeBron looked pissed off in that interview. Lakers in the playoffs, they've only lost 4 games, 4 out of 18. They've won those games on average by like close to 13 points. I want to say the average line was 6.9, and they covered those games by 7.11 points per game. So I don't have to do the quick math there. And the Miami Heat, I mean, Lakers allowed them to shoot greater than 50% from the field again in this game. And they did it before. Lakers still won. So I don't think they really cared that much. But when you allow them to do it again and now you lose, I think you have to take a look at that. And looking at the Lakers, when they've allowed 50% from the field or greater this season, they have more or equal rest than their opponent. And the line is just not, it's just smaller than double digits, really. It's less than minus 12. The Lakers are 12-1-1 against the spread this year. Average line was minus 6.1, and they covered by 5.43 points per game. So I think the Lakers change some things on defense, get a little tighter on defense, but I think the offense is a lot sharper as well. And I think they bounce back here in this game. So I would lean towards the Lakers on the full game. I mean, I like them on the first half as well. Lakers have covered 8 out of the last 10 first halves, and you expect them to be focused out of the gate. It's just I would like to see those adjustments, or I would like to allow them more time to make those adjustments throughout the game. But I would, if I have to play the first half, I'm not playing Miami. It would be the Lakers. And if we're looking at this total, I would agree with the line move. I would like it probably more so if Bam wasn't playing again. But then again, Bam's going to be a liability. He's not going to be as great on offense or defense. So I think it's still doable. That first half, they've been flying over the first half lately, the Lakers, and it's sitting at 112. It just keeps getting a little bit higher and higher. 112 and a half, I mean, it's last I saw, sitting at 113 now. I would have to lean towards the over on the first half. And I like the over on the game as well. The Heat, they're going to shoot a lot of three-pointers. They would like to push and pace to avoid the Lakers defense. I think the Lakers try to do the same in this game to avoid the gritty Heat defense, try to get some easy baskets. I think the Lakers shoot a lot more three-pointers because that's what will be available. That's what the Heat are giving them. And they've shown the ability to hit at a high clip in these playoffs. So I would expect more points than not. I think Anthony Davis gets his easier baskets closer to the rim. I think we get more offensive rebounds again, a little bit more focused on being in those positions. And I think we see points. The only team that the Heat has some trouble with this total. When they played the Pacers just could not score. You just couldn't trust them to score at the end of the games. Their bench was terrible. Outside of that, that is the reason for this query why I eliminated the Pacers from it. But looking at the Heat with 1 day's rest and off of a win, as long as they're not playing the Pacers, total between 210 and 221, the over is 12-0-1. Average total was 216.6, and it went over by 14.81 points per game. I just see a lot of things line up for points to be scored in this game again, and that's the way that I would look. Now, if we're going to do some player props, or before I go to player props, series, the only thing worth looking at now, I mean, you can do Lakers to win, and I expect them to win in 5, honestly, right now. Off of a loss, I don't expect them to lose twice in a row, but I expect them to be focused now from here on out. They've only lost to each team once so far in the playoffs. They've given their one win to Miami Heat. I think the Lakers finish it off 1-5 with somewhere around minus 140. That's the only way that I would look at it. I mean, if you think the Heat win another game, hey, you can go for the 6, but then again, you should probably just take Miami on the money line of the game you think they will win. So that's the way I'm looking. Lakers in 5 minus that 140. And player props, I'm looking at it from a little bit of a different angle. Or I think the Miami Heat continues that gritty defense. They want to keep the ball out of the paint. And I think that the Lakers will do a better job of putting Anthony Davis closer to the basket and in positions for him to be successful. Now, if they're double teaming him, if they're crowding him, he's going to pass it out. And then after that last game, the shooters know they have to be ready. I think I can expect Anthony Davis to have 3 or more assists. His assist total is at 3. 3 is a tie. I think that's a doable task for him. And other than that, I'm just looking for some of these guys to step up and hit three-pointers. As I've mentioned, 6 times so far in the playoffs, the Lakers have shot 40% from 3. The guys I'm looking for, I did not see a Morris prop, but he's a guy who's probably going to take a good amount of threes. KCP, his three-point total is at 1.5. I expect it to go over. It's at it's a little bit juiced though. Not even a little bit. It's juiced. It's at 153, minus 153. Danny Green though, however, at 1.5, his is at plus 110. He's one of those guys who was hesitating to shoot, and that's what he's here for. So if he's open, I expect him to let it fly in this game. And at a plus price, I'll take a shot with that. And lastly, the only other guy I'm looking at, I mean, I would expect him to be in the corner if he's going to be hitting any of them. That's his spot right there. But 1.5 three-pointers for Kuzma at plus 130. I think it's worth a look. I think Lakers knocked down some three-pointers today. And Anthony Davis gets some other guys involved because the Heat are game planning for him. They're trying to take him out of the game. And if he's in a position where it's easier for him to score, like closer to the rim, you're probably going to see three Heat defenders around there, at least two. So we'll expect him to kick it out and get some assists. I'll do a quick recap. If I'm playing the first half, I'm looking at the Lakers minus the 4.5 or over 113. On the full game, I'll be looking towards the Lakers minus. You can get minus, or actually it's changing as we speaking now, but -7, and on the total, I'll be leaning towards over 218.5. Player props. If I had to pick one that's my favorite, I would probably roll with KCP knocking down those 2 3 pointers. All those juice, so I'll give another one. It'll be it'll be Anthony Davis. I think he'll create for others today. So Anthony Davis over 3 assists. Thank you for rocking with me on another episode of Profits Picks. Best of luck if you tail. Good luck on all of your action. And let's do it again next time. We have one more game after the Lakers win this one because they're winning 2 games in a row. Lakers champions.